Welcome to the BLTea Party. If this is your first time here, my name is Mo, and I am your host to all things BL. I am super excited about today's review. Whale Store XOXO! This is my first GL on this channel, and I really hope it's the first of many. I don't know why, but I thought this would have 12 episodes instead of 10, so I did spend an embarrassing amount of time searching for episode 11, and then I was really disappointed. Anyways, let me run through how I organize my reviews. Each show is given a rating from 1 through 5 on 5 different scales: story, chemistry and acting, production, themes and representation, and rewatch value. These ratings are then totaled up to give me a final rating, and it will be added to my ranking of all GMMTV dramas announced for 2025. If you do not want spoilers on what happens in Whale Store XOXO, pause this video, watch all 10 episodes, and then come back here to see my full rating. With that out of the way, let's get into these ratings. Whale Store XOXO begins with the introduction of Juan, portrayed by the very talented, gorgeous, one and only Milk. She is a workaholic who seems to only have time for her job. We get a brief montage of her daily routine, including waking up, running, going to work, and getting back home to do it all over again. She is shown to be someone who is very career-oriented and may want to climb up the corporate ladder. We are then introduced to the best thing since sliced bread, Maenam. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. And Maenam is portrayed by the one and only Love. She is also a workaholic. That girl will not stop. She must have 40 hours in one day, because how is she a professor, a maintenance repair person, a delivery driver, and on top of all of that, she's working on her PhD? Only Maenam. She is so down to earth, and she always has these solutions to help her community. She knows she is privileged, and she takes advantage of that privilege without losing her humility. She is also infatuated with Mr. Yut's daughter, who happens to be Juan. While Juan is busy being a corporate baddie, she's having difficulty finding the time to visit her dad. Unfortunately, after canceling a dinner with him, he unexpectedly passes away. When Juan finds out, she quits her job, moves back to her hometown, and takes over his grocery store. Together, our two main characters work to save the store that is beloved by the community, fight capitalism, and find love along the way. We also have a second couple, Tonam and Chompu, portrayed by June and Munich. Again, forgive my pronunciations. Their story is super cute, but it's honestly really painful too. They are professors who work with Maenam because, of course, Maenam has 1,000 jobs. I would love to be a student at this university. They are professors, and everybody seemingly thinks they hate each other because that's how they're portraying themselves. But in reality, they're lovers. They're fake enemies, but they're lovers. And the whole reason why they're portraying hatred towards each other is really sad, but also really real. So thank you, GMMTV, for that. This story was an unexpected surprise. The idea of running a store with your crush, who also happens to be the daughter of your number one competitor, was surprisingly entertaining. From the initial trailer, I did not know how they would make a story centering a store entertaining without it being some sort of comedy, but I liked the decisions that were made to move the story forward, including the struggle that Juan faced when deciding if it was worth keeping the store open or if it was smarter to just go back to her office job. The storyline with Chompu's mom, who was really, really supportive of Juan and Maenam's relationship, but then she didn't keep that same energy for her own daughter, that had me weeping. June in particular had me sobbing. That her little face, I was like, how can I comfort you? You are falling apart and I want to keep you together. For the story, I will give them a 4 out of 5. There were some moments here and there where it dragged just a little bit, but overall, 4 out of 5. Moving on to chemistry and acting. Again, going back to June, I would cry anytime that poor girl was on my screen. Her acting, in my opinion, has always been stellar, but she really sold this role for me. I could see the devastation in her gaze when her mother-in-law, I'm going to call her mother-in-law, was being straight up nasty with her, which makes her another standout for me. The actress's name is also Chompu, which funny, but there were moments where I was like, ma'am, get it together. How can you be so supportive of Melnam and Juan and then your poor daughter? Like, you're having such a hard time accepting it. She did come around. It took her a minute. She was being nasty there for some time, but she came around, and that's all that really matters. But the chemistry between Chompu and Tonam, amazing. The chemistry between Chompu and her mom, amazing. And of course, the best thing that came out of Bad Buddy, Milk and Love, amazing. I watched 23 and a half when it first came out last year, and I thought it was really cute. But this production really helped showcase Milk and Love's range a lot more. I enjoyed seeing them in a more mature style, and they hands down already have the cute acting down. So I like that they incorporated that in the show, but the maturity that came out of Whale Store XOXO, I think was needed to have them cement themselves as actresses with a lot of different ranges, especially because we're going to be having Girls Rule coming out. Maybe this year, who knows? If you know, let me know. But I think Whale Store XOXO is a good middle ground, like between 23 and a half and what I'm assuming Girl Rules is going to be about. So for acting, I'm giving this whole cast a 5 out of 5, including Som the cat. Moving on to production. As far as GMMTV shows go, this was a fairly simple production. We had a few key settings: the shop, the school, and the hair salon. Though we cycled through these regularly, I never got bored with them, and having a surprise location pop up every now and then helped break the repetitiveness up. Seeing the progression of the store from when Juan's dad ran it to when it was remodeled helped me appreciate being at the store all the time. As always, GMMTV sound isn't great, and I don't foresee it getting better anytime soon, but hearing Love's sweet voice always helps. For production, I'll give them a 3.5 out of 5. I do wish we would have had a cute outing like I've come to expect from GMMTV shows, but I guess it got cut since we only got 10 episodes, which also influenced the production rating. Give me more episodes, especially when you got married and you only let me see like a second of that. I want to see more. Thank you. It's time for themes and representation. I feel like I always have a hard time expressing how these shows do or don't showcase the queer experience accurately. I hope for this show I get my message across, because so far, out of the 2025 releases, I think Whale Store XOXO blew it out of the park with their representation of Willawa relationships. As I mentioned earlier, some of my favorite scenes were with Tonam and Chompu. Chompu's mom not accepting her with open arms right away had me contemplating why I was even watching this. This was supposed to be a cute getaway, not a gut punch. Tonam being so understanding and patient with Chompu's process and coming out to her mom had my whole heart. She really was trying her best, but unfortunately, not everyone is ready at the same time. Though Tonam handled it like a champ, I could see her slowly breaking down as Chompu continued to avoid the conversation. And honestly, both views are valid. If you're not ready to come out, then you're not ready to come out. It's a process. It's different for everybody. The timelines aren't always going to match. And if you are already out and your partner is having a difficult time with that, and you've been supportive for an extended period of time and you're ready to show them off to the world, but they're not there yet, it is also your choice. If that's not what you're wanting, it is your choice to walk away from the relationship, and it may be time for a break. And I could see we were getting there. Besides that, I really loved the theme of family that this show took on. Whether it was Juan regretting not spending more time with her dad, or Melnam and her complicated relationship with her mom and stepdad, I think the show handled these serious topics with care. So, for themes and representation, I will give it a 5 out of 5. Let's talk about rewatching. In previous videos, I have mentioned that I am not a big rewatcher for anything. Once I've seen it, that's it. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't have 40 hours in a day like Milnum. For Whale Store XOXO, I will give it a 3 out of 5. And as always, I'm the problem. I hope to rewatch this one day, but realistically, it won't be anytime soon. It might not be until Girl Rules comes out that I get to see these wonderful faces on my screen again. And I'm super excited for that. Again, if you know any updates on that production of when it might see the light of day, let me know. As a final rating, Whale Store XOXO gets a 4.1 out of 5. I enjoyed this. Anything Milk and Love are in becomes gold. I need GMMTV to have them in everything. I really want them to have a bad buddy like drama. Like imagine them being students, whether they're engineering, architecture, whatever. No, actually, we need them to be engineering students. We need to go back to our roots. But imagine them being engineering students that hate each other, but then they end up falling in love. Going back to Whale Store XOXO, I didn't mention this in the review, but Noi, portrayed by Piploy, she was in love with Juan. That was so important to me. That was so... I get it. I get it. I love an unrequited love story. The yearning in her eyes just killed me. She was there for her bestie all along, and her bestie never saw her "you belong with me" for real. But I do love that she valued her friendship with Juan so much so that she did not dare to ruin the friendship. She witnessed how that ended terribly with Manmuk and decided not to pursue her feelings, even if it destroyed her. Anyways, I really hope GMMTV recognizes that GLs are in high demand and they should be making the same amount of GLs as they do BLs. Considering 2025 is almost over and I have yet to hear much news regarding Girl Rules, Whale Store XOXO may be the only GMMTV GL we get this year. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe and like this video for more GMMTV/BL/GL content.